In December 2017, Wontumi Farms Limited submitted its application for a loan of 18 million Ghana cedis, purportedly to cultivate maize on 100,000 acre farmland and to employ the youth on the farm. At the time that the application was submitted by Wontumi Farms Limited, together with a purported board resolution, the company was not yet registered. In other words, it was not in existence.
Hey, Wontumi. Hey, na sorry apa. Boni audi and one and go sorry. Sa boni bebre Wontumi. Won't go audi one and sorry MPP. But serious. Hey, the ordinary Ghanaians were suffering. Would you mudi akodilo? Say, o say bedam yes enya aduane kura say di. Na manfo enya adwuma 18 million Ghana cedis. Over 18 million. Yen hu he. Chama Wontumi anamu am say be nwan. Wa namu say atoni general dem. Chama Wontumi wa namu say atoni general dem.
In the case involving Mr. Exim Akpaloo of the Liberal Party of Ghana, the Financial Intelligence Center flagged and filed a suspicious transaction report with First Bank Ghana Limited,
who was giving these people that kind of vim. So omunye say dream we. Me say ye bu na nkawefo a na pani uti ho na zamanfo we na bi na uka hu bi o. Uka hu bi o. There's no way say kronu we ni na be si na sangum day po president want to be aba you na be timasi na Dr. Mahmoud we want to be aba din say 2028 mo be kasa kire yo the ATT revelation ya ebe yehu ai time edoso Chama Wontumi and Kofi Akpaloo ye no sleep for the wicked. No Christmas break for the wicked man. What? Chama Wontumi may say by 2026. That's onko prisoner home. Attorney General Dominic Ayine. You bet you what? Krono pa mo say, hey, Chama Wontumi. We enya akonta minus debi. We enya Wontumi Farms. Krono pani. Papa no agatre Ghana buying na nadan kwa akufo say planting for food and jobs yi ono so na say enya gold nkwa no betumatu because say ogodo asase so say okotu gold asase so and this wetimatu gold na successful there any obeso odo ana na nadan kwa akufo say oh why not Exim Bank ewo homa Ghana obi bia say uya busuan nkwa say uya businessman anaso kodi twa nkwa dia ko obeboa wo ana papa ifa ni kuku ni nkeka edeko okoduru ye didi nkoma wey started in 2017 didi nkoma na so ohia busuan be say 18 million Ghana cedis anom so sa na ubeje di say emre na Chama Wontumi edi san komuni na no agwagoji loan no on creating company am say a school na onko nru akire no enti anase den akonta man in first case friends no license 2 no license neti na wasa go say forest 3 mama for kwa no mawura mu 4 ana wasa yensu ne forest ansana de kika waba ana esa godu Chama Wontumi Farms ogwa koji busuya no ore ya say ye di nkomo kire say ke skandi obenya bi afri Exim Bank konti wa ne ko na say oye party ni na eye party force nkwa na de bia no bank bia yi se party bia ba no de nkrofa goto wahu ende gu Ghana no enti okoye na no ana ene omudidi nkomo na Forgery ye no documents buy there ote ni company forming the board no sa na ana okoji loan of 18 million Ghana cedis na ada ya oba bedo 100,000 acres of maize farm say da be ya emrantie mabunu amuwo asare nkwanta omanya adwuma ye anu so a fine case 100,000 acres di we chire enya hwe a enya hon ni mpatam fo na obi abenya adwuma ye enya ho fasika na ma no 18 million Ghana cedis kukuru and Ghana this is 180 billion ya so de ama onipa ba ko ano ultimately gold bar better na TV so ni radio so e ka tell solid money ono sa kwaji busia chama wontumi o 18 million Ghana cedi ubwa na we tese se chama wontumi ba kwaji 18 million na wanya na so de be yaduma no na sa sika ya odi wie yi afa ye wie se ende enema na o so do kwa kototo no fa ho akonta fa bra ye na ye hu be se de be ye enema na according to Attorney General on the 16th of January 2018. Now, based on application submitted by Bernard Anchibuasiako, I friend Chama Wontumi, chief promoter of Wontumi Farms, and Exim Bank approved a medium-term loan facility of 18,734,260 Ghana cedis. Now, which included a grant component of 6,768,260 Ghana cedis. And this Ghana on the 16th of January 2026 amount to me at this Ghana on the call.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, you recall that in March this year, the Economic and Organized Crime Office arrested Chairman Wontumi on reasonable suspicion of the commission of a crime. Chairman Wontumi is the sole shareholder, director, and chief executive officer of Wontumi Farms Limited. The arrest was pursuant to credible intelligence gathered by the EOCO that the company and its director and CEO, its directors and CEO were involved in a fraudulent transaction in connection with a purported loan facility granted by the Ghana Exim Bank under the Mining Alternative Livelihoods program of the bank. The program was designed by Exim Bank to provide alternative sources of livelihood for the youth in areas of the country affected by the phenomenon of illegal mining or galamsey. In doing so, the Exim Bank intended that the loans under the program would go to companies committed to ensuring the realization of the objectives of the initiative, especially in relation to job creation for young persons in mining communities. In December 2017, Wontumi Farms Limited submitted its application for a loan of 18 million Ghana cedis, purportedly to cultivate maize on 100,000 acre farmland and to employ the youth on the farm. At the time that the application was submitted by Wontumi Farms Limited, together with a purported board resolution, the company was not yet registered. In other words, it was not in existence. In short, the company did not exist at the time of the loan application by its sole shareholder and director. Investigations established that Wontumi Farms Limited was incorporated on December 14, 2017, and issued with a certificate to commence business on the same day. The principal business activities of the company, as stated in its corporate registration documents, are general farming, agribusiness, and agro-processing. The directors of the company are Bernard Enchibusuako and Thomas Enchibusuako, with Chairman Wontumi being the sole shareholder of the company and also listed as its company secretary. Thomas Enchibusuako is believed to be the brother of Bernard Enchibusuako, domiciled in the United States of America. Prior to the registration of the company, that is Wontumi Farms Limited, Chairman Wontumi wrote to Exim Bank that the board of directors of Wontumi Farms Limited had met on December 9, 2017, and had resolved to seek a loan facility of 19 million from the bank to support its farm project at Asari Nkwanta in the Ashanti region under the Mining Alternative Livelihoods Initiative. The application letter stated, among others, that the credit facility was meant for a farming venture and that the company had secured 100,000 acres of land for that purpose. On January 16, 2018, based upon the application submitted by Chairman Wontumi, the chief promoter of Wontumi Farms, Exim Bank approved a medium-term loan facility of 18,734,260 Ghana cedis, which included a grant component of 6,700,000 6,768,260 Ghana cedis. This offer was accepted via a letter dated January 23, 2018, and Chairman Wontumi, acting as the Chief Executive Officer of Wontumi Farms Limited, and Thomas Nchibusueko as Director of Wontumi Farms Limited. The offer letter indicated that the approval of the medium-term loan facility was subject to the bank's terms and conditions. The loan offer letter further stated that the loan was secured with 10,000 acres of farmland of Wontumi Farms at Asarinkwanta. The breakdown of the approved 18.7 million loan as per the offer letter was as follows. A. Purchase of agricultural plant and machinery, working capital, and then grant staff costs and consultancy fees. As part of the pre-disbursement conditions of the loan, Wontumi Farms Limited was to do the following among others. Execute an equitable mortgage over the land earmarked for the project, submit a valuation report on the land to be used as collateral, execute a lease agreement over the equipment, provide a letter of undertaking from off-takers to make payments in the joint names of Ghana Exim Bank and Wontumi Farms Limited, and then finally submit copies of the contract with the National Buffer Stock Company, under which Wontumi Farms was to supply the food items to buffer stock. IESO Agribusiness Consult, a company specialized in investment advisory services, consultancy and training and development, was contracted by Exim Bank and assigned to Wontumi Farms Limited as a consultant to the project. The key function of IESO Agribusiness Consult was to provide technical assistance to Wontumi Farms Limited. On February 14, 2018, EBAN Capital Limited, a company that specializes in financial technology services, cash management services, distribution of custom banking and payment software packages, was also contracted by Exim Bank and assigned to Wontumi Farms to provide a platform that will facilitate staff salary payments, customization, integration, POS, terminals, and biometric cards for the farm hands that were to be employed by Wontumi Farms Limited. Wontumi Farms Limited was to provide EBAN Capital Limited with a database of all workers, from which EBAN Capital Limited was to integrate the workers on a payment platform. EBAN Capital Limited would then receive funds directly from Exim Bank for onward disbursement to workers, to the workers' wallets as salaries and allowances. Ladies and gentlemen, Wontumi Farms Limited failed to provide a database of farmers, of farm hands to EBAN Capital, as there were no farmers working on the land, no farm hands working on the land. According to witnesses, Chairman Wontumi, as CEO of Wontumi Farms Limited, insisted and put pressure on EBAN Capital and Exim Bank to transfer the 400,000 meant for the workers to Wontumi Farms Limited on the basis that the youth who were involved in Galamsey were not used to complex electronic payment systems and wanted to be paid in cash. In order to execute the project, Wontumi Farms Limited had submitted a pro forma invoice to Exim Bank for the purchase of farm equipment, including tractors, combine harvesters, corn seeder machines, and Wellington boots. The invoice was submitted on December 15, 2017 as part of the loan application process. Subsequently, Exim Bank demanded proof that the equipment has been purchased. On March 18, 2018, Chairman Wontumi submitted a receipt from a company known as Kasama Enterprise for the purchase of the equipment in the sum of 4 million Ghana cedis. However, and this is where it gets interesting, the equipment purchase, as shown on the receipt, included bulldozers and excavators. Our investigations established that Chairman Wontumi had approached Kasama Enterprise, an industrial equipment dealer, and obtained an invoice with a promise to return to purchase the said equipment. He never went back to purchase the equipment. Instead, and this is where the criminal enterprise began, He forged the invoice he obtained from Kasama Enterprise by removing the word invoice and replacing it with receipt. This forged receipt was then submitted to Exim Bank as proof that he had purchased the equipment after the disbursement of the loan facility. The owner of Kasama Enterprise confirmed to investigators of the Economic and Organized Crime Office that the only document he issued to Wontumi Farms Limited through Chairman Wontumi was a pro forma invoice and not a receipt. He stated that after he issued the invoice, he never heard from Chairman Wontumi again, despite repeated follow-up calls. The forged receipt submitted to Exim Bank suggested that Kasama Enterprise acknowledged receipt of the sum of 4 million Ghana cedis for the purchase of earth-moving machines and farming equipment. The so-called receipt had on it, and ladies and gentlemen of the press, this is what gave him away, 50 days to supply and 1 year guarantee and service. Now, I hope you understand what this means. That when you receive a pro forma invoice, okay, pro forma means that you've taken it with the intention of purchasing. And so they will give you a timeline, okay, within which the supplier will supply you the equipment. And then also, if there are any services or guarantee terms, they will be indicated on the pro forma invoice. But Chairman Wontumi, as I said, took out invoice and replaced it with receipt to deceive Exim Bank that he had actually purchased the equipment. Investigations established that Chairman Wontumi did not purchase any equipment, and as such could not register any equipment in the joint names of Exim Bank and Wontumi Farms Limited as per the loan conditions, even though funds were disbursed to him to that effect. That all the equipment he claimed he purchased could not be traced. Investigations established that though Chairman Wontumi submitted the forged receipt to Exim Bank, he stated during interrogation that he purchased second-hand brand new, whatever that means, second-hand brand new equipment, and that the receipts of all the purchases, including the documents on the equipment, were all sent to Exim Bank. However, Exim Bank has confirmed that neither Chairman Wontumi nor Wontumi Farms Limited submitted any documents covering the purchase of the required equipment except the forged receipts. In fact, when our investigators went to the ground, they realized that there were some obsolete, decrepit machines on the side, tractors dating back that were manufactured in the 1970s, and that were not functioning, were the ones that had been placed on the farm. So this was definitely a grand scheme designed to defraud Exim Bank. It is clear from our investigation that Chairman Wontumi and his company, Wontumi Farms Limited, made fraudulent misrepresentations to Exim Bank with a view to obtaining the loan facility, and in fact did obtain the loan facility. The equipment they represented were to be purchased were never procured. The farming enterprise never materialized, and so no young persons were employed in Asare Nkwanta in the Ashanti region. But more importantly, the company and its director and CEO forged a receipt in order to deceive Exim Bank that they were in compliance with the loan conditions. These are not mere breaches of a contract, but constitute acts of criminality by no mean a person than the regional chairman of the then ruling party. In the circumstances and the face of the evidence we have gathered in this investigation, thoroughly conducted by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, we have made the decision to prosecute Wontumi Farms and its directors with defrauding by false pretenses, forgery, and causing financial loss to the state in the sum of 24,255,735 Ghana cedis. This figure represents the principal sum plus the interest that has accrued so far. And ladies and gentlemen, by the time we file charges, which will be definitely after the Christmas break when we resume work, it might be that this figure would have increased because the interest on the principal keeps compounding. And so we will get the exact figure of the amount that is involved in this, criminal enterprise from the Exim Bank before we file charges in court.
That's about to be. Hey, now more sorry, Papa. Bonia Udi and one and go sorry. Saboni be better amount to me. Won't go one and sorry, MPP. But I serious. The ordinary Ghanaians were suffering. Would you mudi akojilu? Say, o say bedam here say nyaduane kwese di. Na manfo nyadwuma ye 18 million Ghana cedis. Over 18 million. Yan hu he. Chama untumi anamu am say be nwanwa. Wanamu say attorney general dem. Chama untumi wanamu say attorney general dem. Now, according to a further and better investigation, according to the Attorney General, as I did to us, according to Papa Feno, company Feno Casman Company Limited, Omamu 50 days to supply and 1 year guarantee. Chama to me koya ama. In the omudi be wafa. Omongongo hene chire kwai. Na the omudi man invoice on no receipt. Or yes, can to bank accounts beam, and now you're in a physical cash, and I'm momo. I like it, baby. And your dear transaction is here. Now, I don't know how Exim Bank phones, hey, and you're going to when you attempt. What that I will play with our intelligence. Mama, I can't go school. On what democratic companies at the na. I be doing one being commerce at the Najilo. Would you loan me a one bank one? Now, men I make us me pre loan of a friend saying. 10,000 Ghana cedis because go him fee. And the Nippon so they call for me so. Mongo hongo. Money movie. Na emre pamu na semuni na yechemo. Money movie. Emre pamu. Ese yechemo na. Na I don't know according to the Attorney General. The investigation test Bernard Antibu Asiako. Your friend chairman Wontumi. The Forgery sig friend say invoice go ma Exim Bank for we. Or say we ya enyema otodi ko si friend saying afom no so aya second hand tractors ni hon konya ba mo say tractor bi 1979 tractor say we tractor no what dey scrap kra enye what dey scrap kra enye am say chama adan see ya no ko discuss o dey koye kwan ya hu say we dey aboba kra koto ho ene o discuss koye farms who are say who found oh and then which level of wickedness in you and someone like this want to be a national chairman for the MPP and you are confidently telling Ghanaians say Obasabi we need election 2028 say yeah Jimmy we are fools me boy what momra the chairman to me you are converting the way na masa about 2028 ni asa to abama this is more reshuffle entire team na eti Jama to me second hand why the basa what destroy everything. Now annually according to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dominic Ayine say ne board members no e de omo yamadu say letter no so mo forgery letter be so forgery bia no mo forgery ko because they have to make sure say sikan intact sikan na so mo nten omu di sikan but 100,000 acres of no de ye de ye hu bi enya hweboni bi anim ankwala ni mrantie yuta omo asare kwanta omo enya aduma ni bi anya ono chama ntumi enka no coat na kan shirt ba se wotena wi ase di boni se ya sa boni na wudi no dakro adubone ye de begum am wadi ewu ena wona aduru buronya enka amanfo bebo fi abaje enam ne ne ye da wase na ohia amanfo abonte ne wa cheniska na o wi ase ka no say na bechawo no wan hwe no say da nase na sa ase da we pa ya se da pa sa ase da we ya se da pa ye de chama ntimi ase wa gogu Attorney General chetremu wa kansem no from A to Z na ni bra wa yire no wa ha ne konka no me come message nine say by 2026 no ne chama ntimi da so ye back and forth ye press conference bi abio information evidence na ohwegu oto ma ye no case no tem from a content minus one say agrada de no free prisons nanga o say ba nanga obeto aso na we no free no so nanga obeto aso nanga oto case be na obia the case e for obi on free prison bra say yes sir on for be so nyansa Kofi Akpaloo su na yase wa koji COCOBOD contract na COCOBOD contract na koji ye no chese eno MPP for na ye no favor na say enye say contractor papa bi na oye ndi ono so oni certificate. Look at this MPP, why were you doing this? How many minutes na money creating company? What creating company di koji a whole COCOBOD contract. Company no so o creating na obi company na koji ye. Na company na koji ye so dey call ye na say according to Kofi Mr. Percival Kofi Akpaloo no Liberal Party of Ghana a penny papa no say ono na ni bra bre no a person ye contract no and then people so why not e mama obi if say wo shade yabo NDC for my pa and ye tam sika any man say e man COCOBOD contract onye no nkonko ye na oje say ogwakọ ye adwuma ye a papa yi enkonko ye adwuma sha say e koso afa ye be hu say FIC for aja say asa ye hu say contract ye nkofo di sika no e switch accounts. Why? What is going on? Young accounts switch no. You are creating similar name because the first name acquire Poma. Anna, you have created a name for Fra. And so Poma. But now when Poma Universal Limited account. Poma POMAA. POMAA. That's the first company. And only certificate or the better contract. Now, already maintain was it because so. Sikano udria bako ABT bako. Ana Kofi Akpaloo na say no, o create different account. Ana otimko create an account aya Poma with H etwa POMAAH. Universal Limited account.
In the case involving Mr. Percival Akpaloo of the Liberal Party of Ghana, the Financial Intelligence Center flagged and filed a suspicious transaction report with First Bank Ghana Limited regarding transactions on an account belonging to Poma Universal Ghana Limited. That is a company owned by the said Kofi Akpaloo. Following the STR, that is a suspicious transaction report by the FIC, the Economic and Organized Crime began an investigation into the matter. The investigations revealed that Poma Universal Ghana Limited, a business entity owned entirely by a lady called Ekua Poma, was the legitimate contractor that was awarded a feeder roads contract by COCOBOD. The contract, which was valued at 29.5 million Ghana cedis, was awarded in December 2020. Although the project commenced and an initial amount was properly deposited into Poma Universal Ghana Limited, subsequent payments raised serious concerns regarding misrepresentation, forgery, and unauthorized handling of the checks. Our investigations revealed that Akpaloo secretly incorporated another company, separate and distinct from Poma Universal Ghana Limited, also known as Poma Universal Ghana Limited, but deliberately added H to the Poma. So Poma is POMAA, all right, Ghana Limited, which is a company which is owned by Ekua Poma. What the company that he incorporated added H to the Poma, so it became, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the same Poma, Poma Ghana Limited, Universal Ghana Limited. But the difference was just the H at the end of Poma. And so after having done this, between December 2022 and June 2024, Akpaloo collected 8 checks issued by COCOBOD in the name of Poma Universal Ghana Limited. That is the original and authentic Poma, totaling 3.1 million. That is 3,169,432 Ghana cedis and 22 pesos, and deposited them into the account of his own company, that is also Poma Ghana Limited with an H at First Bank Ghana Limited. Again, our investigations confirmed that Ekua Poma was unaware of both the existence of the Poma Ghana Limited, that is the second company, and the diversion of the funds until COCOBOD contacted her in June 2024 regarding outstanding balances on the contract. She subsequently discovered that Akpaloo had collected and misdirected the payments without her consent. Ekua Poma also alleged that Akpaloo forged her signature on the COCOBOD contract using her former name, Maxi Owusu, to secure the agreement without her authorization. First Bank Ghana Limited conducted an internal investigations and corroborated the fraud allegations that we have made, concluding that Akpaloo knowingly misrepresented ownership of the checks and deposited them into the wrong account. The bank acknowledged operational failures in detecting the discrepancies between the check payee names and the account numbers. The suspects who have been investigated are Percival Kofi Akpaloo, Poma Ghana Limited, the Poma with the H, and Delvin Akpaloo, his wife. That is the spouse of Kofi Akpaloo. It's fast becoming fashionable to commit crimes with spouses these days.
And a bank, so no. One, and yet the same account number. Two, Poma with H, Poma with that HR, and yet possible. Again, ORC, Office of Register for more say a chimukra. Mona mo say Dino Esse, and any pronunciation class, Wontumi register. And to me, the Maxi, IMA, XI. Say, ni obi de MA, X, Y. Wontumi register. According to Mo, Mona Moko, but Omaya de Kofi Akpaloo. Ana Kofi Akpaloo divert sikai. So, oh, here gumani. No, here's a canigum. No, here gum. Ana, they be ready as a yard also. And you go confronting my mere queer, Poma say, then I cost you as a accounts na imi no accounts be na imi no e ba kom say na since when na receive this cause ya che ateni ekobusa ya sa na Kofi Akpaloo papa no na chese sika no onso go create different account o twigum sa anu you say ebo mi nana me go here na account na wa ye no was wa forge me signature am say one MPP signature for GBB and day. And the time I want to make creative fake documents, creative fake signatures, and then the board members. Kofi Akpaloo, I got the Obi, and the license and on when your contract like that. Only the best my no much is car. And as a gun on nature, I can and I will create a similar name. Add the account on Eddie Jinica. And I know Yago Flaggy. Financial intelligence for who ya. You could say also for just a signature. Sika, there's anywhere we are going at that time over 3,169,432.22 Ghana cedis. Over 30 billion, right? 3 billion rather. What you waiting na? I'm dying. Kofi Akpaloo. When a Captain Smart come busano, na auto pass one no who you can. Sana ne fare mani. Na banker or yes our transaction no. First Bank Ghana. Na mo First Bank free. The man who sep na account need the same. But according to First Bank for tell my phone so too. Now there was someone there. Oh Yahweh. There's someone there. Oh nya the cat. The cat back ho yente no. Exim Bank ho mo he obi ho so oye wedu because e dey na MPP ni ho monche no me say no sleep for the wicked man ORC for on so attorney general me pacho obi ntimi register one same name poma enye possible wala say wan fa no ankwankwa any contract name na e bia e bank account nko ade na eti ase any ORC for mun kan enye sa dia ORC for yam some questions say e contract no e no de ebeje ye na osesa sa di ni se be poma as a contract name a friends and contract name esa de beje ni contract dia and asema ba but when you know who was awarding these contracts? Who was giving these people that kind of vim? So omunye sa dream we. Me say ye bu na nkawefo a na pani uti ho na za manfo we na bi na uka hu bi o. Uka hu bi o. There's no way say kronu we ni na besi na single day po president want to be aba. You ain't never to na Dr. Mahmoud Bami want to be. About this 2028 mo abekasa kire yo. The entity revelation ya ebe yewi. A time a doso. But Chama Wontumi again in trouble. This time around a ugly time pa. And this time around uwefu because okodi 8/18 million Ghana cedis. I also require 100,000 acres of a friend say maize farm. Now boys ne guess are more asarin kwanta any adwuma farms no a friend say equipment no boys benya adwuma no sika yedi Kofi Akpaloo su koje contract do obi certificate ye we ya sika ye trade ye ya ho confusion akoye basa or the same name poma no on the H akoka ho advert over 3 million Ghana cedis e dey akotum asema ba ono so ye hu say yes also okuro no afa dey asem na ye pinso ono so go forging signature Chama Wontumi su forgery signature ema Exim Bank for editumu enyema oka so kwagoto e dey akwakoye for mu say hey best 1979 according to Attorney General then sama oka na ewenti kasa dey he to what the operation recover all loot eno na da hoy ena sa asemi asi bibukura ya yafu sa Attorney General by 2026 ye hu hwe na wonti obi a Mr. May press conference bia me yete anamfa me so ompene so umre hwe de Chama Wontumi ase otia obunfu unyae say ya ya mo for comment to comment section I say we are subscribe like na share mo unya so enya bi ewe edi no eye baako pe Maxi Billian Macau bye bye.